members are new to this committee this year, so we use this opportunity as an education platform on operations and state government, and opportunity to hear what you offer as the secretary. So with that, let's begin. And use the microphone here. So your broadcast. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and appreciate the opportunity to visit with your committee. Pardon me, I'm getting older, my eyesight is getting worse, so I'm going to have to use some glasses to help me out. But I'm pleased to report that the 2024 elections went off fantastic. We were very pleased with the results. In our game of elections, we plan for the worst and hope for the best. And we're dealing with over 2 million registered voters and 10,000 poll workers, your friends and neighbors, and the Miami County auditors. It's a team that we have to make sure is all on the same page, and I think we did a good job on that done. I want to thank you for the opportunity to share some of the work our office is doing with you all today. And I want to express my gratitude to each of you for your ongoing support and funding of election administration and business service for Iowans. As Iowa Secretary of State, my pleasure to serve the state across our three key divisions: business services, elections, and the Safe at Home program. We have the privilege of working with Iowans all corners of the state on a variety of topics. Iowans have made it clear that the safety and security of our elections is a top priority. We have employed a layered approach to ensuring election integrity and are proud to maintain a top ranking nationally for our election administration. The foundation of my role as Secretary of State is my need to strike a balance between empowering all eligible Iowans to participate in Iowa elections and maintaining strong election integrity. For the course of the last year, we've led several civic education campaigns to increase Iowa voter registration and participation in all ages and build trust in Iowa's election processes. Programs like our Iowa High School Voter Registration Day and the Carrie Chapter category help educate Iowa youth on the voting process and to register 17 and 18-year-olds to vote. And the John Lewis Youth Leadership Award recognizes civic-minded young leaders. We also have the opportunity to promote voting and honor our brave men and women who have served our country, the Honor at Veteran program, and our new Veterans for Voting initiative, which provides veterans with important resources to make their voices heard in polls. I'm also proud to say that the American dream is alive and well in Iowa. We saw another strong year and a number of new business registrations by our office in fiscal year 2024. Our Business Services Division continues to provide fast, efficient service through the fast-track filing system, adding several new filing types to the system this year. And between our online systems and the integration of a 24/7 call center, business owners have even more opportunities to grow and solidify their business operations. This year, we hit a new milestone, working with 850 businesses and associations across 94 of Iowa's 99 counties on the Iowa Businesses Against Trafficking initiative. This program encourages Iowa businesses and their partners to learn something and to do something about human trafficking. By partnering with Iowa's business community, we are raising awareness and building a statewide army to combat this form of modern-day slavery. Our Safe at Home program continues to provide support through a legal substitute address, mail forwarding, and confidential voter registration. I'm proud to serve as Iowa's Secretary of State and look forward to continuing to serve the great state of Iowa. In the elections arena, as you know, we just wrapped up a significant election a few months ago. I'm very proud of my elections team who worked diligently to ensure safe, fair, and accurate elections on behalf of Iowans. We saw a very smooth election in 2024, and our legislative goals this year would help us fine-tune some of our procedures to keep up this momentum. This includes evolving and building on our cybersecurity measures, recount processes, and customer service for Iowa businesses, and measure to verify the citizenship of registered voters. There are about 2 million registered voters in our state, and we saw 113,000 new voters registered in 2024. As part of our civic education program, we continue to work with Iowa's high schools to register eligible students to vote. As a result of these efforts, almost 16,000 high school students were registered to vote through our Carrie Chapman CAT program. Iowans had a strong showing at the polls this November. We saw a strong voter turnout rate with more than 1.6 million ballots cast and a 74% voter turnout rate. As I said earlier, balancing our registration and participation with voter integrity is a key part of my role as Secretary of State. We're proud of the continually recognized nationally as a top-ranked state for election administration. We have not done this alone, and parts of the state, local, and federal levels, and with the Iowa legislature in particular, have been instrumental in protecting Iowa's elections. We also attribute our success to a layered approach to election security. We want Iowans to know their vote is safe and secure. We vote on paper ballots. You can't hack a paper ballot. There is no evidence of unauthorized intrusions into Iowa's election systems. We have a robust cyber and physical security measures in place to stop bad actors before any unauthorized activity occurs. We require every county to publicly test its election equipment for the election. Both political parties are invited to attend as well as the general public. Every county also conducts a post-election audit, which consists of hand-counting ballots in a randomly chosen precinct. And since we began requiring all counties to conduct these post-election audits, the hand counts have matched the machine tally of 100% in all 99 counties. We partner with the Iowa Department of Homeland Security and Emergency Management, the Iowa Department of Public Safety, the FBI, the U.S. Department of Homeland Security, and the Iowa National Guard to monitor the election day activity. My office conducts regular, ongoing audits of our voter registration lists to maintain clean, up-to-date lists that ensure only eligible voters are participating in Iowa elections. Election cybersecurity remains a race without a finish line. My office works closely with the state's Department of Management IT division to ensure that all 99 counties receive cybersecurity protections. This includes malware prevention, intrusion detection, constant monitoring, and the cybersecurity training for all employees. We set a solid foundation, and we continue to boost our cyber maturity. All these layers are vital to protecting the integrity of the vote. Recent legislation has been absolutely critical to our success over the last year. Moving forward, this session, we've introduced some proposals that will fine-tune these procedures and help us to continue to administer safe, fair, and accurate elections in Iowa. Another key component of election integrity is consistency and uniformity across every single Iowa precinct. We've been working diligently to standardize election processes statewide and to establish a statewide training program. This ensures that election officials in every corner of the state are enforcing election law consistently and providing voters with a uniform experience. We have dedicated significant resources and time to preparing and training Iowa's new county auditors. Last year, this is important to note, last year over a third of our county's auditors across the state has never before administered a presidential election. 2024, 29 new auditors were elected to office. County auditors wear many hats in addition to election administration. These new election officials must receive the support and resources they need to administer safe, secure, and accurate elections across the state. We've already begun training sessions with our new county auditors. We will have a full schedule this year to provide both new and returning auditors with the critical resources and training opportunities. Last year, we conducted approximately 40 educational sessions with our county auditors, averaging more than 3 training sessions per month, and more than half of our trainings were conducted in person. These include tabletop exercises with their county election partners to prepare a proactive crisis plans, in-person training in each of our 6 auditor districts, on-site visits to new auditors, and weekly virtual meetings leading up to the primary and general elections. In Iowa, more than 200 elections are happening each year. The work is never done, and ensuring consistency across our state is of the utmost importance, and we must continue to provide training opportunities for our new and returning county election officials. We're also dedicating significant resources to poll worker training, thanks to legislation passed last year. 10,000 Iowans step up each election to serve their communities as poll workers. They are your friends and neighbors and serve as poll workers because they care about our democratic process. In the recount area, we also look forward to standardizing and fine-tuning some of the recount processes across the state. We continue to see very close elections in Iowa. Of course, we had the congressional race in 2020 that was decided by just 6 votes. And more recently, we saw recounts conducted in congressional and state legislative races. In central Iowa, one of our state house races went to a recount and was decided by just 29 votes. With the influx of such competitive races, uniformity in our recount procedure is increasingly important. Some key components of our proposal standardize the timeline, require uniform methods for recounting ballots, and provide flexibility for the recount board size to reflect the county's population. Recounts in large counties are difficult with just 3 people to conduct, and I want to allow for recount boards to consist of more members in larger counties, making the tallying of votes more manageable and more efficient. Business services. Our services is widely recognized for administering elections, but our business services division remains a key component of our work. Iowa continues to be a great place to fulfill your dream and to build a business. Last year, just over 31,000 new business entities were filed with our office. We process hundreds of thousands of filings on behalf of our business community each year. And in fiscal year 24, we processed 114,000 uniform commercial code filings, with over 106,000 business registered with our office and 3 million accessible documents and forms available on our fast-track filing system. We remain committed to providing Iowa businesses with the service that they deserve: fast, efficient, and accessible. Our fast-track filing system is vital to providing Iowans with high-quality service. Businesses using this online system have their documents processed within 2 days at most, and often documents are processed within minutes. The system is accessible online 24 hours a day. Iowa businesses overwhelmingly leverage this tool. In 2024, 70% of the business filings were completed via fast track, and 96% of the new business registrations were completed online. We continue to evolve our fast track filing system and add new capabilities to complete the additional filings online. We also discovered that 20% of business filings occur after regular business hours. And with this in mind, we integrated a customer service call center that's open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Since October, we've received nearly 13,000 calls to the call center, and around 300 of those calls were received outside of normal working hours. Now, Iowa business owners can not only complete their filings at any time, but have to contact our office and speak to a real person in the middle of the night if needed. Later this month, we are launching a new website that improves user experience for Iowans. Navigating our site to find important information and resources on registering to vote, election data, and critical resources for our business community, including forms and fees to complete required filings with our office. At the intersection of our business services and safe and home divisions, we've established a program to combat the heinous crime of human trafficking within Iowa's borders. Our Safe at Home program was created with unanimous support from the Iowa legislature in 2015. It is an address confidentiality program that provides a legal substitute address to survivors of domestic violence, sexual abuse, assault, stalking, and trafficking. In fiscal year 24, we added 303 new participants for a total of 1,200 Iowans served by this program. Iowa Businesses Against Trafficking empowers Iowa businesses and organizations to learn something and to do something about human trafficking. Raising awareness is the first step in fighting this crime, and we're proud of the impact that our IBAC members have had on their communities since we launched the program 3 years ago. IBAC now boasts more than 850 members, reaching more than 325,000 employees here in Iowa. I'd be happy to share more information about this program and how we can eradicate human trafficking in our state. I encourage you all to work with your constituents and to encourage them to be a part of this effort. In closing, I'd like to thank you again for your support of our efforts. We're extremely proud of the work we completed over the last year, administering a fair and accurate general election, helping Iowans feel safe at home, and broadening our support service for the Iowa business community. I'm happy to give you any information you want or answer any questions you have today. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary of State Pate. I'm going to begin with just a question of my own. As we did our budget last year, there's a policy bill that accompanied, but I think we ended up with 3 additional FTEs and some funding for election support. And just a quick update on how you're dealing with that this fiscal year.
Those are the funds that we were utilizing for all the new auditor training we're doing. We are finalizing the hire of some of the last FTEs on those 3 you authorized. Be very candid. It's very challenging to find people who have election experience to work in the elections arena. And so we've had to be a lot more aggressive and creative in trying to reach out. But we're pleased that we now have some very good qualified candidates. We're just finalizing interviews and hopefully have them come on board. But again, those funds are being applied. I think are well spent this cycle with all the new auditors. We have said already had 2 major training sessions with these auditors, and we'll be doing another here in about a month, in addition to Teams meetings with these auditors.
Thank you, and I just want to thank you for your work on leadership on a statewide basis, certainly with 99 county auditors, as serving as local election commissioners, and then with a slew of poll workers. So I know locally there was outreach to recruit more poll workers, which we were successful in doing and helping meet that need. And so thank you for your leadership there. Representative Meyer, if you have a question.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Secretary Pate, thank you for coming today. My name is Representative Meyer from Southeast Des Moines. You're very proud of the work you do in elections, obviously. You would agree that voting is a fundamental right? Would you agree with that?
Well, sure.
And interfering with that fundamental right, there should be considered consequences if you interfere with somebody's fundamental right to vote, shouldn't there?
We follow the laws that you passed and make sure that those laws are applied.
2 weeks prior to the election last year, you issued guidance to prohibit over 2,000 people from voting.
That's not correct.
What did you do?
I think the record stands for what we did. We advised the county auditors that we had 2,000 names that we needed to verify their citizenship status, and they were directed not to stop them from voting, that they were to let them vote a challenge ballot as we, the administrators of elections, sort out their citizenship status.
Shouldn't that have been done prior to the election?
If the Biden administration had given us the information we needed, we would have happily done that.
You don't have that information, you got it from the Department of Transportation.
Department of Transportation information was not a full picture because we have 8 years old on the status of their citizenship. And if I used it as it was, we definitely would have penalized those 2,000 people by saying you can't vote.
But you did penalize them because they were challenge ballots.
No, the challenge ballot, we do that regularly.
What was the result of that?
Those numbers are still coming in. We haven't seen it yet.
How many actually were not citizens?
I'm answering your question.
You don't know?
Of course not. The 99 auditors are still putting information in the database, so we have it assured.
And so how many of them actually tried to vote out of those 2,000?
I just told you, we've got the information, we'll share it with you. We haven't got the information collected.
It is illegal to try to register to vote if you're not a citizen, correct?
Most certainly.
It's illegal to vote if you're not a citizen.
Most certainly.
So you knew that those 2,000 people you had questions about, yet you didn't investigate it.
My office doesn't have the authority to investigate. That's part of the Department of Public Safety and the Attorney General's.
But you had the authority to stop them from voting.
I'm not following your line of question.
You issued guidance to stop them from voting that day.
That's not correct. I said it to you twice. I'll say it a third time.
What did you say?
We told them that if someone comes in off this list, we need to challenge their ballot, provisional. There's no provisional ballot, allowed them to continue to vote, and then we need to confirm their citizenship status.
And is it fair to say that if I'm a citizen and you you challenged me from voting, I'd be kind of upset, wouldn't I?
Depends on what the reasoning was.
Actual voter fraud, Woodbury County, Republican supervisor, former state representative, Jeremy Taylor and his wife Kim, actually were convicted of over 50 counts of election fraud, correct?
They were investigated and was a prosecution, correct?
They were convicted, she was convicted, correct?
You should ask the Attorney General those questions. Yes, I believe so.
Your office didn't sniff that out, though, did you?
Sniff that out.
Your office didn't investigate that, did you?
I've said to you before, I'll say it again, we do not have investigative authority. If you want to give me that authority, please do so.
Okay, thank you. Nothing further.
Representative Srinivas.
Thank you, Secretary Pate, for being here. I had a couple of follow-up questions based on that exchange. You mentioned that it was 2,176 people that were ordered to have a provisional ballot. Is that correct?
Correct.
And with those provisional ballots, what's the process? What happens? So say somebody on that list came in, had to cast a provisional ballot. What's the next step?
Well, they would be allowed to cast their ballot, as you mentioned, and then we would, the auditor office would ask them to prove their citizenship status, and that would be done through different manners. They have their documentation information or some other passport or something might verify their citizenship.
So they would have to come in within what time period with further documentation?
A week.
Within a week. And what about people who had cast their ballot early or absentee voted before this was even announced?
They were notified.
How were they notified?
Usually by mail and call. Both auditors are very good about making sure they're reached.
And how do you know that they were very good about that? What was the verification process?
Each auditor was given direction on what they should be doing. That's all they were.
And with mail, if you have 1 week to follow up on that ballot, would you guarantee everybody received their mail in a timely manner to be able to follow up?
That's why they do the phone calls.
Phone calls. Were the phone calls done to everybody?
No, only the ones that were by mail.
So were they actually, did they follow through and were they able to contact everyone?
I'd be happy to check with those counties and get that and give you information.
And I'm also curious, there were people who were trying to contact these other groups, candidates. Why was there a limit on who was allowed to access this list to help contact these people?
Because we didn't wish to make them some kind of target for any other group because they didn't do anything wrong potentially. So why would we want to do that?
Oh, okay. So since they didn't do anything wrong, we should just not let them vote. That's what it should be.
You're speaking. No one was stopping voting.
Well, if they didn't come up with the documentation in time, does that stop them from voting?
Well, certainly.
And so that means that there were legal citizens in the United States who wanted to vote who were not able to.
I will give you that information once we total it up. I don't believe that happened.
Oh, that's interesting because I've worked with some groups that have verified that they were unable to contact people whom we know are legal citizens because they were out of the country or traveling, and that's why they had submitted an early vote or absentee vote and weren't able to come up with their documentation in time.
I'd be happy with that information if you want to share it.
I'm happy to share that with
Thank
you.
you.
I do know several. And you mentioned that the American dream is alive and well. Would you consider being able to vote part of that American dream?
Oh, certainly.
And so if we are challenging people who have rightfully worked hard to become citizens from being able to cast their vote, isn't that challenging their ability to fulfill their American dream?
I find it very disappointing that we didn't get the cooperation from the Biden administration to give us the list, so none of this ever had to happen. That list was sitting in downtown Des Moines in the immigration office, and they were told by the Washington D.C. office not to give it to us. If that had not happened, we would not be dealing with that. Now let me reverse the question on Mike. When you talk about a congressional race that won by 6 votes, every single person who's registered to vote better darn will be qualified to be eligible.
I agree. So then, when it comes to that, those 6 votes, what if there were 6 votes who were not counted, who were legally allowed to count, and that congressional race changes because you interfered, made them cast a provisional ballot? The information that this was based on, that list of 2,000 plus names was based on, was a 12-year-old record. Is that not correct?
8-year-old.
Oh, well, that's interesting because according to the court case in which there was a lawsuit against this, it directly says that you stated it was up to a 12-year-old record.
I'll look at it for you and get that clarified.
Okay, well, according to the court case that you were a part of, the 12-year-old record is what this was based on. You yourself said 113,000 new people become eligible and registered voters every single year in the state of Iowa. Is that not true?
That's what this last year was, yes.
Yes, so approximately around that number, give or take some, every year. So a 12-year-old record, if there are that many new people eligible to vote every year, we're going back and disenfranchising people based on a 12-year-old record?
You're asking me if that's ideal? Not at all.
And so I'm very, very concerned. My parents are immigrants. They worked really hard to come here. They came here on visas, and they worked really hard as students, as postdocs, and then got their green card and became citizens. One of their biggest points of pride was being able to cast that ballot. I'm extremely disappointed that the 2024 election prevented people whose part of their American dream was to vote. They were told they were not allowed to, merely because of what sounds like, honestly, xenophobia. Thank you.
Any other questions for Secretary Pate? Representative Cisneros.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to thank Secretary Pate. I know some of my constituents and others from other counties had some questions, and your office was able to respond to them, and I appreciate that. I appreciate that communication back and forth. And on this particular issue, I want to thank you for that difficulty of trying to find illegal voters. And there's always going to be people, whether intentionally or just because they don't know, they're just excited about being in a country and think that they can vote. Thank you for putting in that effort to make sure we keep that part of our election safe.
Well, seeing no further questions, then I'm going to thank you for your time, Secretary Pate. I appreciate the update and certainly the discussion around the breadth of services you provide in your office.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would also just extend an invitation to do, I think a formal one was sent out, but we'll be doing the unveiling of the new Iowa Constitution case Thursday, February 12th at 3:15 in Rotunda. I respect the fact that our laws in this great state are based on the Iowa Constitution and the U.S. Constitution. It's a great way for our Iowa citizens to see that Constitution on exhibit, and I hope you'll be able to join us for it. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you again, Secretary. Is there any other business to come before the meeting? Hearing none, Representative Meyer moves we arise.
Number 2, sir.